This is an audiobook created by Subconscious Key Studio. I want you to come back with me to a moment, a seemingly ordinary moment. You're in a conversation, perhaps with someone you love, or maybe just a colleague. And they say something, a simple thing, a passing comment. And from a place deep within you, a place you didn't even know existed, a response rises. It's hot. It's sharp. It's a flash of lightning in your chest, a tremor in your hands. Maybe it's a wave of criticism so precise it shocks you, or a jealousy so green and venomous you can almost taste it, or a fear so ancient and cold it steals the breath from your lungs. And just as quickly as it came, it's gone, and you are left there holding the echo of it, thinking, where did that come from? That wasn't me. We build our identity, our sense of I, like a carefully curated gallery. We hang the portraits of our kindness, our patience, our competence. We light them beautifully. We present this gallery to the world and say, this is me. Look how whole I am. But what if you are not just the gallery? What if you are the entire building? And in the basement of that building, in a room long ago locked and the key thrown away, there lives another part of you. A part that is not curated, not presentable, but is, in its own way, fiercely, authentically alive. The great explorer of the soul, Carl Jung, called this resident of the basement the shadow. And we have been taught to fear it, to starve it, to pretend it isn't there. But I am here to tell you a different story, a story not of conquest, but of homecoming. This is an invitation not to hunt a monster in the dark, but to finally open that door, to descend the stairs, and to meet a lost part of your own soul. Welcome to a journey into the shadow and the self. To understand this stranger in our basement, we must first understand how it came to be there. It begins in the soft, clay-like time of our childhood. From our very first breath, we are master cartographers, mapping the landscape of love and safety. We learn the language of approval, a mother's smile, the warmth in a father's voice, the applause for a good grade. And we learn, too, the cold geography of disapproval. The frown, the sharp word, the silence that feels like abandonment, the laughter that makes us feel small. Piece by piece, we begin to construct a mask. Jung called this the persona, the face we show to the world so that we might belong. It's not a lie, not exactly. It's a survival mechanism. It's the good girl, the tough boy, the responsible one, the peacemaker. But what happens to the feelings, the impulses, the wild and wonderful quirks that don't fit the mask? Let me tell you a story. Imagine a child, let's call her Alara. Alara is fiercely, vibrantly competitive. She loves to win, to be the best, to lead the game. But in her family, the unspoken rule is be modest, be gentle, don't show off. So, little by little, Alara learns to lock her competitive fire in the basement. She becomes the modest, supportive friend. But that competitive spirit doesn't die. It becomes shadow. And years later, Alara might find herself feeling a corrosive resentment towards ambitious colleagues, or she might sabotage her own successes just before she achieves them. Because to win would be to let that unacceptable part out of its cage. This is the birth of the shadow. It is the living library of everything you were taught you were not allowed to be. And it holds not only the so-called demons, our rage, our selfishness, our pettiness, but also the angels we were forced to exile, our brilliant creativity deemed impractical, our powerful sensuality called shameful, our righteous anger labeled unladylike or unmanly. The shadow is not evil. It is the collection of your disowned self. Now here is the fundamental, unshakable law of the psyche. Energy cannot be destroyed. You can ignore a part of yourself. You can deny it. You can padlock the door, but you cannot make it disappear. In fact, the more you try, the more powerful it becomes in the darkness. It gathers a charge. It becomes what Jung called a complex, a psychic entity, a ghost in the machine of your personality that can take over when your guard is down. The man who has banished his grief will find it emerging as a numbness that deadens all joy. The woman who has locked away her anger will find it leaking out as sharp, passive-aggressive comments, or as a mysterious, chronic pain in her neck and shoulders. This is the shadow acting out. It is the exiled king of a forgotten country, demanding to be recognized. Jung gave us perhaps the most crucial warning any of us will ever hear. Until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life and you will call it fate. Let that settle for a moment. The relationship patterns you can't escape, the ceiling you keep hitting in your work, the same argument you have with different people, in different rooms, year after year. The sudden, impulsive decision that unravels your stability. This is not mere coincidence. This is not a curse from the stars. This is the shadow, the unconscious director of your life, pulling the strings from the basement. You call it fate, but it is just a part of you begging to be seen. So we begin to see the truth. The shadow is not our enemy. It is a prisoner of war from the battles of our childhood, and we are both the jailer and the jailed. The sentence has long since been served. That prisoner now holds not a weapon, but a key, the key to your vitality, your authenticity, your complete and sovereign power. The journey to freedom does not begin with a sword, but with a question. It begins with turning slowly and walking towards the staircase you have spent a lifetime avoiding. It begins with a single, courageous step downward. So how do we meet this hidden part? We don't need a map drawn by someone else. The shadow, in its clever, desperate way, is constantly projecting itself onto the world around us, painting its portrait on the faces of other people. The most direct path to your shadow is to simply notice what hooks you. Jung put it with breathtaking clarity. Everything that irritates us about others can lead us to an understanding of ourselves. Let's try this now. Let the world around you soften, and bring into your mind's eye someone who gets to you. It might be a politician you despise, a narcissistic coworker, a lazy family member. Don't just think of them. Feel the reaction they stir in your body. That tightness in the jaw, that heat in the face. Now find the single, most potent word you would use to describe their core flaw. Is it arrogance, incompetence, neediness, deceit, selfishness? Now I am going to ask you to do the bravest, most liberating thing you may do all day. I want you to turn that brilliant, piercing spotlight of your judgment away from them and inward. With radical, gentle, and uncompromising honesty, I want you to ask yourself, where, in the hidden corners of my own life, do I also express a version of this very trait? If you hate arrogance, where are you refusing to see your own sense of superiority, perhaps masked as just being more knowledgeable? If you despise neediness, where have you severed your own healthy human needs for love and support, pretending you are a fortress that needs nothing and no one? That sharp, painful hook of judgment, it is not an accident. It is a homing beacon. It is a signal from your own soul saying, here, this quality you find so repulsive in another, it lives in me. Come and reclaim it. Come and heal it. Let me tell you a story about a man named Samuel. Samuel was a pillar of his community, a man known for his boundless generosity. His shadow, the part he had buried deep, was his greed. He saw it as a vile, shameful thing. He would secretly judge those who were materialistic. But his disowned greed leaked out in subtle ways. He had a hard time truly celebrating others' windfalls, and he clung tightly to his own resources, though he'd never admit it. One day, in a moment of courage, he decided to talk to this greedy part in his journal, and he discovered something that brought him to tears. His greed wasn't a monster. It was a terrified, inner orphan who had grown up with nothing. It wasn't about money. It was a deep, unmet hunger for security, for abundance, for a sense of being truly enough. When he integrated it, his flaw of greed transformed into the gift of radical self-value. He learned to receive as well as give. He invested in himself without guilt. His generosity became authentic, flowing from a cup that was now full, not from an empty vessel trying to buy love. And then there was Clara. Clara was a free spirit, an artist who prized her independence above all else. Her shadow was her dependency, her need for others, for stability, for commitment. She judged needy people with a shudder, but this exiled neediness made her relationships brittle and fleeting. When she finally invited this needy Clara to speak, she found a young, lonely part of her that was terrified of being swallowed up, of losing herself. This part wasn't weak. It was a guardian of her core self, but it was using isolation as its only tool. By integrating it, Clara's weakness of dependency became the gift of sacred interdependence. She could be both strong and vulnerable. She could commit without feeling trapped. She could let people in because she was no longer afraid of losing herself. This is the secret alchemy of the soul. The very thing you have been taught to hate in yourself is often your greatest potential, waiting in its raw, unrefined state. The shadow holds the gold, but it is buried in the mud of our shame and our judgment. Let's now together draw a map of your unique shadow territory. You don't need pen or paper, just the quiet attention of your inner eye. First, bring to the surface 3 people who act as your triggers, your mirrors. See their faces. Feel the charge they carry for you. And beside each one in your mind, write the one-word trait they represent for you. Arrogance, irresponsibility, cowardice. Second, turn your gaze inward into the private, shadowy corners of your own heart. What are the impulses, the desires, the feelings that make you flinch? That bring a hot flush of shame to your cheeks. The pettiness, the vanity, the secret pride, the hidden lusts. Acknowledge them. Don't judge them, just list them mentally. These are your exiles. And third, think of a quality you deeply admire in others but feel is a foreign language to you. They are so charismatic, or she is so effortlessly disciplined, or he is so spiritually connected. Often, we project our own latent, disowned greatness onto others, making them icons while making ourselves small. Look at this list you have drawn in the quiet space of your mind. This is not a list of your sins. This is a treasure map written in the secret code of your own psyche. It is an invitation to the greatest adventure you will ever undertake, the adventure of becoming whole. We have the map. Now we learn the art of the alchemist, the sacred art of turning the lead of our repressed shadows into the gold of conscious power. This is not done with force, but with curiosity. Not with war, but with welcome. The first and most essential tool is the sacred pause of non-judgmental observation. For the coming days, I invite you to become a compassionate anthropologist of your own inner world. When you feel that familiar surge, that judgment, that shame, that rising panic, instead of being swept away by the river of emotion, I want you to find the riverbank. Take one breath and simply say inwardly, "Ah, look at that. A part of me is feeling deeply threatened right now." Or, "How interesting. A part of me is feeling a powerful urge to control this situation." This simple act of naming, of witnessing, creates a profound shift. You are no longer being the anger. You are the vast, open sky in which the weather of anger is passing through. In that space, you reclaim your power. You are no longer the prisoner of the emotion. The second, more advanced tool is the art of dialoguing. This is where you move from observing the shadow to conversing with it. When a shadow emotion is strong, find a quiet moment, open a journal, and give it a voice. Write a conversation. Be brave, you, hello, fear. You are very loud today. What are you trying to protect me from? Fear, if you take that risk, you will fail. And everyone will see you are a fraud. You, I hear you. You are trying to keep me safe from humiliation. Thank you for your care. But what if we could handle it, even if we failed? You will find that these disowned parts are not monsters. They are often childlike, terrified, and operating from outdated rules. They hold immense power, and when you listen to them, you can update their software. You can bring them into the present. The shadow is raw, primal life force. It is energy, and energy needs to move. It needs a body. If you discover a hidden volcanic rage, do not unleash it on your family. Instead, go into a room alone and pound a pillow with a tennis racket. Scream into a towel. Go for a furious, heart-pounding run. If you find a hidden artist, do not wait for a masterpiece. Buy the cheapest children's paints and make a glorious, meaningless mess. Dance in your living room with the curtains closed. Sing a silly, made-up song at the top of your lungs. This is not childish. This is sacred. This is how you give the shadow a constructive, ritualized outlet. You are honoring its energy without letting it drive the car of your life. And as you do this work, the observing, the dialoguing, the creating, a miracle will begin to occur in your outer world. The phenomenon of projection will start to dissolve. The greed you saw in your brother will fade because you have reclaimed your own. The arrogance you saw in your boss will soften because you have made peace with your own inner critic. You are pulling your psychic projections back from the world, like a fisherman slowly reeling in a line. The world becomes less charged, less personal, and you become more responsible, more whole. This is the birth of true, unconditional self-compassion. And from that place, a genuine, non-judgmental compassion for all other human beings on their own tangled journeys. This work, this gentle, fierce, compassionate work of reclamation is the heart of the journey. It is how we end the civil war within. It is how we stop being a kingdom divided and become a sovereign, integrated self. Now let us move from the mind, from the theory, from the practice, into the temple of direct experience. Let us prepare to not just speak about the shadow, but to sit with it in the sacred silence of our own hearts, to listen to its story, and to receive the gift it has been holding for you all this time. Now make yourself as comfortable as you can. Allow your body to be fully supported by the earth, by the chair, by the moment. Let your eyes gently close and bring the focus of your awareness inward to the river of your breath. Simply feeling the cool air as it enters and the warm air as it leaves, not controlling, just observing the gentle tide of your own aliveness. With every exhale, feel yourself releasing the outside world, releasing the to-do lists, the worries, the identities you wear, feeling yourself sinking deeper and deeper into the quiet, inner sanctuary of your being. Now, in the theater of your mind, I want you to see yourself standing at the top of a beautiful, winding staircase. This staircase leads down into the core of who you are. Each step you take downward feels like a gentle shedding, a letting go. You feel safer, more curious, more truly yourself with every step. You reach the bottom, and before you is a doorway to a room that is your own perfect inner sanctuary. It might be a library, a cozy cabin, a sun-drenched temple, a cave by the sea, however it appears. It is deeply, profoundly safe, and it is yours. You open the door and step inside. Feel the peace of this place, the silence that is not empty, but full. Now, from a corner of this room, I invite one aspect of your shadow to step forward. Don't force it, just open an invitation. It might be the part of you that feels insecure, the part that is deeply sad, the part that is fiercely angry, or the part that holds a wild, creative power you've been afraid to claim. Let an image, a shape, a color, or simply a feeling of presence emerge. Just observe it, see it with the eyes of compassion. Not judgment, notice its posture, its energy. Is it young, old, powerful, frightened? Simply witness this long-lost part of your own soul, and from your centered, adult self, send it a silent message of welcome. I see you. You are a part of me. You are welcome here. Now, from your heart, ask it a question. What is your name? Or what do you need? Or what gift have you been holding for me all this time? And now, just listen, open a deep, receptive silence. You may hear words, see an image, feel a sudden knowing, or a wave of emotion. Just receive, without analysis, without judgment. You are simply listening to a story that has been waiting a lifetime to be told. If you feel any unease, remember your breath. You are the loving awareness in which all this is happening. You are safe. Now see if you can offer this part a gesture of reconciliation, a nod, a gentle smile, perhaps even opening your hands or your arms. Imagine this shadow aspect moving closer, not to overwhelm you, but to be acknowledged. Feel its energy, once separate and foreign, now beginning to blend with your own like a stream merging with a river, making you feel more complete, more substantial, more whole. Watch as it finds a new, honored place to rest within your inner sanctuary. It is no longer in the shadows. It has come home. It has taken its rightful seat at the council fire of your soul. And now, gently, ever so gently, begin to bring your awareness back to the physical room around you, feeling the weight of your body on the chair, the air on your skin, the sounds in the space, taking a deep, full breath. Arriving back here, now wiggling your fingers and your toes, inviting movement back into the body. You have done profound and courageous work today. You have not battled a demon, you have welcomed a lost child of your soul home. The goal was never to become the shadow, but to become whole with it, to integrate its power, its passion, its truth into the tapestry of who you are. This is not an end, but a glorious beginning, the first step on the lifelong, liberating path of radical wholeness. You have met yourself in the basement, and you have discovered you were not a monster, but a king, a queen in exile. You have reclaimed your throne. Carry this integrated, compassionate wholeness with you out into the light of your world.